Good morning, students. Today we are going to see about this I/O port programming, input output programming, port programming. So, what is that I/O port and what is that there in 8051 microcontroller? You know, you have a microprocessor, you have a RAM, you have a ROM, and then you have serial ports, timer, and then what else? Input output ports. Okay. So, in your 8051 you have this peripherals, namely serial ports, timer, input output ports, RAM and ROM along with the processor. So, today we are very much concerned about I/O port programming. What is that I/O port? How many ports we have in 8051? We know that we have 4 ports in 8051, namely P0, P1 and P2, P3, right? So, we have 4 ports. Each ports is having 8 pins. See here, in the right side of the pin out structure, you have port 0 and port 2, whereas the left side of the port structure, left side of the port structure, you will be having P1 and P3. P1 and P3. So, coming to your ports of 8051. Okay. So, ports of 8051. So, how many ports we have? I said already, you have port P0, you have port P1 and port P2 and port P3. Whereas, port P0 and P2 is placed in the right side of the pin out structure, right. So, P0 pin, okay, all the 4 ports is a bidirectional port. First thing you need to remember, it's a bidirectional port, bidirectional input output port, bidirectional input output port. So, meaning you can send the data from the 8051 to the outside world, as well as you can receive the data from the peripherals to 8051. This can also be done. So, hence it is said to be bidirectional input output port. If it is an input port, the peripherals may be your keyboard, like that. You can even you connect your phone, any net internet through your GSM structure or your Bluetooth, via your Bluetooth also you can send your data. So, 8051 will support that. So, 8051 bidirectional input output port, the peripheral, if it is an input device you are connecting to, so you can send the data, and from the 8051 if you are connecting in any output peripheral, namely any of your display device, either your monitor or your display device 7 segment LED like that, you can even send the data to the peripherals. Okay, in general peripheral, I/O peripherals. And along with this input output function, this ports P0 and P2 will perform additional function. Okay. So, P0 port as such, P0 will do additional function along with your input output. It can also perform multiplexed, it will do multiplexed, it will act as a multiplexed address on the data bus. Okay, it will perform multiplex address and database, meaning if you are programming it as an, if you want to compute a program, for example, so the address of the instructions can be placed in the lower order address, can be placed in the P0 port, so that you can pick the code from your memory, from namely your ROM, as well as you can even take the data from the inbuilt RAM. Okay, you can take the you can take the data from the inbuilt RAM, and you can take the program from the ROM. Okay. So, multiplexed address on the data bus, and port P1 will act as a higher order address bus, will act as a higher order address bus too. Okay. So, totally how many address pins we have in 8051? We have, I am sorry, this is P2. So, totally we have from A0 to A15 we have 16 pins. So, you can address, it can address, 8051 can address up to 2 power 16, which is nothing but 64K, which is nothing but 64K, which is nothing but 64K it can address, it can address. But inbuilt structure of RAM, we know it is 128 bytes and ROM is 4K. Okay. So, port P0 and P2 is like this, whereas port P1 is port P1, it is solely dedicated for your input output function. It does not perform other than this, it does not perform anything other than this. And port 3 is a special port, it along with the input output function, it can also act, you have of 8 pins, it is a multifunction port. So, along with the input output function, so you have TXT pin, RXT pin, that is used for serial communication, and then you have INT0, INT1, that is used for interrupts, and you have T0 and T1, that is used for timer, and then okay, and what else, two more, and two more is nothing but read and the write control signal pin. Okay, that can be used for reading the data from your peripheral or writing the data into the peripheral or inside your RAM or ROM, whatever. Okay. So, of which today we are going to see about this port internal structures, and then we will proceed with port 0 now. Okay guys, already I said about this port P0, we have input output function, it will act as an input output port, and the other alternate function is nothing but it will act as a multiplexed address data bus, So, it performs three function, input function, output function, as an alternate function is nothing but multiplexed address data bus. Okay. So, this is the internal structure of a port pin P0. Okay, we have port pin P0.0 up to P0.7. Each port pin will have this internal structure. Let me assume that this is for P0.0. This is for P0.0. So, for this P0.0, okay, this is the internal structure. So, let me come ahead with the internal structure. Internal structure of this particular pin is having a D latch, 2 tri-state buffer. This is a D flip flop, and this is a tri-state buffer. And you have an address, either this will be acting as an alternate function, either it will act as an address, lower order address bus or the data bus. At that case, you need to generate a control signal here at the output of the port P0. So, this is the address of the data, and this is the control signal. You have two transistors T1 and T2, and this is a multiplexer MUX. Okay. So, this MUX, when this particular function is operating as this particular port is operating as an input port, this MUX switch, now it will be connected here. It will be connected to the Q bar of your flip flop. So, now we know already what is that. If you want to configure any port pin as an input port pin, first you need to give 1 at the input, or you need to place 1 at the internal bus. So, this is the clock signal. So, when the clock signal is high, so along with this internal bus data, that is 1. So, you will be having 1. You know what is the operation of the D flip flop. Whatever data that is placed at the input, that will be appearing at the output with a delay. That is your D flip flop. So, this is 1. Your complement will be here. This is 0. When this is 0, this is connected here. When this is 0, this transistor T2 is off. Okay, this transistor T2 is off, and T1 we will need to go ahead with T1. T2 is off. Okay, T1 we are not going to use this particular port pin as an address or the data bus. Okay, so the control signal is 0. So, if this is 0, see here, this is connected control, and the address bar data that is connected to an AND gate. If one of the input of the AND gate is 0, this is 0. So, if this is 0, this is off. So, both the transistor T1 and T2 are off. This is said to be truly bidirectional state, or highly impedance state, or the floating state, high impedance state. Truly bidirectional state, high impedance state, or floating state. In that case, whatever data that is being placed in the input of the port pin, that can be forcefully read here, either 0 or 1 can be read, only it will be read only if the read pin of the tri-state buffer is high. This data will be placed here, either 0 or 1, whatever it is available at the input. This data 0 or 1 is available here, that will be placed here in the D flip-flop. Whatever data that is being read now, it is available in the D flip-flop, that can be read by the 8051 microcontroller via this read latch. When I am giving this read latch to be 1, this can be read by the 8051. Okay, this is the input function of your 8051. This is the input function of your port P0 of 8051. Okay, so let me go ahead with the output function. When this particular port is behaving as an output port, okay, let me assume that this is output port. Why specifically we are giving it as P0.x is x take any value between 0 to 7. Okay, so output function means I need to configure this as an output port, means I need to place 0 at the internal bus. Assume that I have a clock high. So when this is 0, this is 0 and this will be 1. When this is 1, now this is being connected here. So this is 1 and this is on. So when this is on, this is grounded. This is grounded. Okay. So meaning when this is grounded, this is 0, and here always your control is 0 because this is input output function. So I know I won't be giving control. So this is 0 and this will be off. Right, this is off, base is 0, transistor is off. So now transistor is off and this is being grounded. Okay, so now 0 will be available at the output. This is grounded, no? So this is 0 available at the output. Okay, when I need to place a 1 at the output, okay, when I need to place 1 at the output, I have a high here and I will be having 1 here, I will be having 0 here, and this will be 0 and this will be 0. If this is 0, when base is 0, this is off and this is 0. Okay, this is 0 because control is 0, this is 0, and so this is 0 means connected to base, this is off. So when both are 0, this is in highly impedance state or the floating state, high impedance state or the floating state or the truly bidirectional state. It is in the truly bidirectional state. So when it is in the truly bidirectional state, see here, this is now it is an output pin. So this 1 has to appear here at the output. So here when the port P0, if it has to function as an output port, an external pull-up resistor has to be connected. Okay, pull-up resistor has to be connected here. Only then this high, this is high, this is connected here, no, this will be available at the output. Okay, this when you want to make this port P0 as the output port, that too when you are giving 1, when this 1 has to be available at the output, we need to forcefully externally we need to connect a pull-up resistor. You know what is the function of the pull-up resistor, you would have read in your electronic devices circuit, and you need to connect an external pull-up resistor. Okay, external pull-up resistor that will be connected when you want to make this port P0 as an output port. So when it is going to function as an output port, like this you need to connect. You will be connecting an external pull-up resistor for each port pin when you need to function this port P0 as an output port. Okay, output port. And let me go ahead with the alternate function. Alternate function, what is the alternate function? You have this either it may be acting as an address bus or you may act as a data bus. So when it is acting as an address bus, okay, so you have either this is acting as an address bus. Let me take when this is address bus, in the address I have to give 0. Forget about this tri-state buffer and the D flip-flop. Now because this address line, this will be now in the mux, this will be connected here. No more it will be connected to Q bar. Now it will be connected to the NOT gate, which is nothing but the address or data. Now this address is 0. When this is 0, okay, address has to be 0. When this is 0, this is 1 and this is 1. When this is 1, this is on. This is on means this is grounded. T2 is grounded, and here the control signal has to be 1. So 0 and 1, again this will be 0, this will be off. Okay, this will be off. This is off, wherever this is grounded, Now 0 will be placed outside. So a control signal is generated. An address control signal is generated when it is acting as an address bus. So now when it is going to act as a data bus, okay. So when it is going to act as a data bus, I will be placing 1 here and control will be 1 already. Forget about this tri-state buffer here, the D flip-flop also. So now this 1 will be connected here. This is your mux, as I said already. Whenever your control is 1, no longer you will be connecting this switch here to 0, meaning your Q bar. It will be connected to your data address. So 1 and 1, 1 over here, this is on, okay, T1 is on, and again 1 is placed here. So this is 0, this is 0 means this is off, this is off means this is off means this is open, and now this is on, this is high. So 1 will be available, so you will be placing 1 over here. Now this is regarding your data bus. So you have generated a control signal for the data bus, meaning your port P0.x. This is about the alternate function of your port P0. Okay, 1. Okay, let us go ahead with port P1. Okay guys, let us see about your port 1 now. So port 1, we know that it is solely dedicated as an input output port function only. It is solely dedicated for the input output function only. So first let us take here as an input, if it is behaving as an input port. So what we need to give in the port 1 P1.0 whatever. So in the internal bus I need to place it 1. Input port means I need to place logic 1, only then it will behave as an input port. Okay, it will behave as an input port. Okay. So now here this port 1 is solely dedicated for IO. Okay, it doesn't have any alternate functions. So this control and address bar data, whichever we have read in port 0, that is purely or solely eliminated here along with the transistor T1 structure. Okay, and one more thing you need to see here is your internal pull-up resistor. In your port 0, whenever your port 0, when you need to operate it as an output port, you need an external pull-up resistor for proper operation. Okay, pull-up resistor for proper operation, and you need to connect that manually. You need to connect that pull-up resistor manually in your port 0. But here you have an inbuilt internal pull-up resistor, that is available in your port P1. Okay, that is the difference between your port 0 and port 1. And keep in mind now let me take this as an input function. Input function means I need to place 1. And this is a D latch. When I am having a clock high, I will be having 1 here because it's a D flip flop. This is going to be 0. When this is 0, this transistor is off, and hence if it is off, this is going to be off, right? So this is going to be off, and if you see this is now it is in the floating state. It is nowhere grounded. This point is said to be quasi bidirectional state. It is in the floating state. If it is in the quasi bidirectional state, that is in the floating state, whatever data that is available here, okay, it will be forcefully read, forcefully available here. It will be available here at this point. So this data, if it is 0 or 1, it will be available here. When I am making this read pin high, it's a tri-state buffer. So when I am enabling this read pin high, I'll be having this data here. So that data will be placed in the input of the D flip flop, and that is available in the D flip flop now, and that can be read by the 8051 microcontroller via your read latch. Okay, this is regarding the input function of your port P1. Okay, and okay, is it okay? Right. Okay guys, let us go ahead with the output operation. This is the input operation for the port 1. Am I right? This is the input operation for the port 1. Let me go ahead with the output operation. come ahead with the output operation of your port P1. So, for the output operation of port P1, I need to place 1 in the internal bus, 0 in the internal bus. So, in the right latch I have a high, and so this 0 will appear here, this 1 will be here, so complement, and this is 1, so this is on. When this is on, this transistor is grounded. When this is grounded, so you will be having 0 here, and this is now it is acting as an output port, so this 0 will be placed here. Okay, this 0 will be placed here. And similarly, if I have a 1 here, so I have a 1 over here, I will be having a 0 over here, this will be off, so this will be floating now, quasi bidirectional state. Now this is VCC, you have an internal pull-up resistor, so this will be logic high, that will be, because this is grounded, right, this is open, off means open, it is not grounded, it is open, so this VCC will be available here, so now this 1 will be available at the output. This is how this port P1 will be operating as an input port as well as the output port. Okay. Okay guys, let me go ahead with the port P1 is over, sorry. Let me go ahead with port P2. Okay, let me go ahead with port P2. So, in port P2, we know that this port P2, other than your input output function, the alternate function is it will act as a higher order address bus. So, earlier like your port 0, you won't be having any AND gate here because that is a multiplex address data. So, we will be using an AND gate here, and then you have an top transistor here, and then the function you have read for your port P0. But now here you have only your address along with your control signal, and other than this you have an input output function. Let me tell you about your input function when it acts as an input function, how it is going to behave, the same function as you have read already. So, now the control will be 0, now I am not going to use it anyway, so the control will be 0 here, and similarly address also I am not going to give anyway. So, internally first when you want to behave this port, make it P2 as an input port, I need to place 1 at the D latch. When this is having a clock, I will be having 1 here, okay, 1 here, so 1 over here, and see here you have a NOT gate here, this is the internal structure, you have a NOT gate here. So, if this is 1, I will be getting 0, and when this is 0, this transistor is off. So, if transistor is off means this is open. So, here it is in the floating state. You have an internal pull-up resistor here also. It is connected, it is not forcefully connected as like your P0 for the output when the P0 is going to behave as an output port. But both for your P1 and P2 you have an internal pull-up resistor. Internal pull-up resistor, so this will be floating now, this 5 volts, you are not going to ground. This is said to be quasi bidirectional state or the floating state, quasi bidirectional state, the floating state. When you have a floating state, at that time whatever value that is being placed in the input of the port pin P2.0, let me assume that either 1 or 0, that can be read forcefully via your read pin. When your read pin is high, this 0 or 1 can be read here. So, 0 or 1, whichever data that is being placed over here. So, now this 0 or 1 is placed here, and that is available in your D latch. This will be available for your 8051, and you can 8051 can read it by enabling your tri-state buffer read latch pin. Okay, this is regarding the input function. Okay. Similarly, when your port P2, when you want to make it as an output port, you need to give 0 first, and you have a clock signal here. I will be having a 0 here, and I will be having a 0 here. I have a NOT gate, so this is 1, and when this is 1, this is on, so this is being grounded. When this is grounded, you have 0, so this is grounded, you have 0. So, now this is an output port, 0 will be placed outside. Okay. And similarly, when you want to place 1 here, okay, when you want to place 1 at the output port, when you want to place 1 at the output structure, okay. So when I want to place 1, when it is behaving as 1, 1 and 1, and this is 1 over here, and this is 0 over here. When this is over, this is 0, this is off. This is off means this is open. So you have this VCC available here. This is open, right? So this will be high. 1 will be available at the input. 1 will be available at the output. I'm sorry. 1 will be available at the output. Now, when what is the alternate function of port P2? That is, it is going to behave as a higher order address bus. When it is going to act as a higher order address bus, we are not going to place any data in the D latch. Forget about the tri-state buffer and the D latch here. So you have a control signal high, and you have only address that will be high. That will be high. Both will be high. Okay, both will be high. So, and this will be connected. This pin, this switch will be connected here. Okay, this switch will be connected here. When you have 1 here, this will be 0, this will be 0, this is off, this is off, means this will be open, and you have a high here connected through your pull-up resistor, so that will be available at the output. So you are generating a control signal here, okay, namely your address control signal here as an alternate function. This is the alternate function of port P2. Okay. Okay guys, let me go ahead with port P3. So what is the function of port P3? For port P3 is a special function. Okay, you have number of alternate functions for your port P3 other than your IO port. It will act as a serial port, and it will act as an interrupt port. Okay, interrupt here, interrupt external interrupts, INT0 or INT1, meaning that any other external peripherals, if it needs the service of 8051 microcontroller, it will interrupt the INTO and INT1 8051 through this pin INT0 or INT1, and your timer T0 and T1. Okay, it will act as a timer or a counter, and external memory write read operations, namely RAM related operations. These are the special functions or the alternate functions of your port P3, alternate functions of your port P3. So I don't want to discuss further about the input output functions of port P3, because that is much similar of your port 0, 1 and 2. So let me discuss only about the alternate functions, for example. Okay, for example, I will take only these two ports, serial input and the serial output port. Serial input and the serial port alone I will take. The other two functions is much similar as like this. So if it is a serial output, serial input or serial output means, let me take a TXT pin. TXT pin is used for your transmission pin, meaning this particular P3 dot X. What is the pin number of TXT? Please hold. Pin number of TXT is 10, right? P3.0. P3.0 is RXT. P3.1 is TXT. P3.1 is TXT. Yeah, that is what here it is given. Okay, I have scrolled much longer. So P3.1. So this P3.1 is going to be the TXT pin, the transmission pin, meaning the output pin. This is going to be the output pin, transmission pin. Okay, the serial communication. So now this alternate function. So this alternate function. Let this alternate function. Let it be alternate output function. Let me take it as 0. Okay. Now this has to act as an output port. So keep 0 here. If this is 0, this is 0, and this is 0, this is also 0. If any one of the input of NAND gate is 0, output will be 1. This is 1, this is on, and this is grounded. This is grounded, VCC is connected. This is grounded means you have 0 here. So now this 0 will be placed at the output. Now output is nothing but TXT. Okay. Now TXT means it will act as an output port. Okay. So let me come ahead with the RXT. And you want to make it as an RXT pin. It is an input pin. It is an input pin. At that time, your alternate output function, you will make this as 1. alternate input function is 1, and this is 1 over here, okay, because it is going to be the input port. So 1 over here, 1 and 1, this will be 0 definitely. If this is 0 and this will be off, now you will have a floating state or a quasi bidirectional state, okay. Quasi bidirectional state, whatever data that is being present here, that will be forcefully read here, okay, forcefully read here when your read pin is enabled, and that will be placed in the D latch, and that can be read by the 8051 through your read latch, okay. Okay, this I have said about only the RxD and the TxD. In much similar way, you need to go ahead with your other port structures also. With this, I'll complete the port programming of port explanation of, it's not programming, port explanation of your 8051. Okay, thank you.